Hello guys and gals, it is Soulfax here. Welcome to another episode of Mondays with Soulfax, this time actually on a Monday. Now you might have noticed that last week I didn't do an episode of Mondays with Soulfax. That was because I was working on a video and decided just not to spend time on it because there was nothing significant to talk about that happened last week, I think. Well, yeah, nothing significant happened, so yeah, I made a new video. It is the beginning of a new series called Witcher Stories, and it is basically, the premise is basically that I'll be retelling the stories that are found in The Last Wish and The Sword of Destiny, and of course some of the stories that are found in the rest of the novels, because there are more interesting stories in the collection of short stories because they are just short stories. They have a cohesive start and an end, and they usually last, I don't know, 50, 60, 70, 100 pages, when in the main books, in the novels, the stories last, well, all of the novels, so yeah, and I also tried a different style for this episode. Instead of using actual gameplay footage, I decided to take some interesting screenshots and use them, and, well, not use them, excuse me, and run them through a program called Topaz, which is originally, from what I've figured out, a plugin for Photoshop, but because it's no longer a plugin, I decided to use it on itself, by itself, and I downloaded a 30-day trial for it. It's a very interesting program. There's a lot of things that you can actually do with it. It's basically a picture editor, a graphical editor, and when I downloaded it and installed the 30-day trial, I was confused because there are literally, when you install this thing, you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You get 8 different icons on your desktop that all bring you to a different thing, and when you start the main thing, which is called the Photo Lab FX, you have a variety of plugins to choose in, and the one that I chose was, I think it was Simplify or Simplicity or something along those lines, and it's a very useful plugin which basically turns your screenshots or just anything that you put in it into a picture form, and there are a lot of different presets for it. You can naturally customize your own preset, but I decided against it because I found one that I really, well, it's not that I really liked it, it was just simpler to use an existing preset. And then I got a couple of good screenshots in game, and then I decided to run him through it and make a video out of it. And well, from what I've seen from the feedback from you guys, which was relatively very limited for some reason, I don't know why, people liked it, although they didn't like it as much as the gameplay videos. And I can understand that, definitely I can understand that, because gameplay is just better in some ways because it looks better. If nothing, this is just static pictures, and granted, I didn't take enough of those screenshots to create a cohesive story because I was very late with the video, and I only started working on it really on Wednesday, and I released it on Friday, so you get what I mean. I made that whole video in like 2 days, although it took me a week to write the script, but I took the screenshots and edited them and put them into and rendered the video itself in like 2 days. So it could have turned out better, but I'm relatively satisfied with how it turned out. Now, the next episode of this Witcher Stories thing that I'm doing is going to be next Friday, I think. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to make it this Friday because I have some things to do throughout this week that I neglected to do last week because I was working on this video. But we will see. And the next episode will also use this same style in which I take screenshots, make them look like they are paintings or pictures, whatever you want to call it, and then collect them and render them into a video. So yeah, that's it. Okay, so what else have I been doing this week? Well, last Friday, the day that I released that video that I was talking about, was my birthday, so yeah, that is a thing, and I didn't celebrate it just yet this Friday. I'm going to be celebrating it this Friday, and by that I mean the Friday 4 days from Monday when this video is premiering, so that's another thing to take into consideration because I might not be able to make a video by Friday because of all the things that I need to do till Friday, and because of all the things that I neglected to do last week because I was making the video. So yeah, anyhow, enough about that. What else did I do this week? Well, I played a lot of World of Tanks, and I'm really starting to again like this game. It brings a competitive edge out from me that only a couple of games that I played so far made me try so hard. I mean, you could say that I am a tryhard in this game. The term tryhard is a very stupid term that people use negatively, but if you play a game and you want to be competitive in it, the only way to play it is to try hard, and I am relatively trying to play this game competitively and to play it hard. That's a weird sentence syntax. Anyhow, The game that you're currently watching, I think, is me playing in a tier 9 matchup on a map that I really don't know what it's called, doesn't really matter. I'm playing in the Joseph Stalin 1. It is the first, well, not the first, it is the second evolution of Russian heavy tanks during World War II. The first one being the Kilmet Vorshilovs and the KV-1 and the KV-2 and stuff like that. And then the second evolution would be the IS-1, the IS-2 and the IS-3. And in real life, this thing never had the access to the gun that I'm currently using on it, the 122mm DT5 cannon. It never had access to that cannon. They used the same 85mm cannon that was found on the T-34-85. But in this game, because it's World of Tanks, you just get that cannon. And it is a decent tank, but the thing is, this thing is a heavy tank. And in a tier 9 matchup, you just can't do too much in a heavy tank, because well, let me just explain how heavy tanks work in World of Tanks. You're supposed to be on the front lines, you're supposed to try and brawl with your enemy in close quarters, and you're supposed to try to use your armor and your guns that have high alpha damage to effectively trade health with your enemies. You're not supposed to stay in the back and try to snipe at long range or flank around and brawl around like medium tanks can do. But when you get in a higher tier matchup, you find yourself in a position where you just can't be very effective, because firstly, your armor is just not very good at high tiers. When you're in a tier 7 tank like the IS and you're fighting against SD1s and I don't know, E50s and stuff like that, your heavy tank armor isn't as effective at tier 9 as it is at tier 7. And your cannon, which is decent, this cannon has 175mm penetration, that is not a lot, and you need to load premium ammo, which I refuse to do because it is extremely expensive, and it promotes stupid plays, and promotes you just literally aiming at the enemy and pressing and just firing at wherever you can fire because you just use premium ammo. So I do struggle with this tank every so often, because most of the time, because again, you are a heavy tank, you do get matched up in high tier games, but when this thing is low tier, it is just so amazing. It's such a great tank when it's low tier, because you have a lot of armor on this thing, and although it's not very fast, people tend not to do stupid things around you because you do have that huge 122mm cannon that has 390 alpha damage, which on average, I mean that is the average damage, but it can go up to 430 something alpha damage. So yes, this tank is very, very scary, but not in this particular match. So keeping on the same topic, I've been toying with the idea of starting another series of videos. Yes, I know it's kind of stupid because I already am working on Witcher lore and working on Witcher stories at the same time, but the thing that I want to make is just once a week I want to make a video in which I play a video game. It doesn't matter which video game, but just any video game that I like playing and that I just want to talk about a little bit every once in a while. And that video game currently is World of Tanks. And well, it's kind of convenient because I've done War Thunder videos in the past, and while I was doing War Thunder videos, I've gotten kind of hooked on learning stuff about tanks and stuff like that, and I know a lot about like 50 to 60% of the tanks that are currently in World of Tanks, so that can make for some interesting videos, but I really don't know because I haven't done that in a while. I really haven't done that in a while, but I will try to give it a go this week because, well, why the hell not? It's just like I sit down, I spend an hour on making a video, and then I just upload it. It's not supposed to be a lot of work, but we'll see how it goes. But anyhow, that has been it for me. My name has been Soulfax. Hope you enjoyed this video. I will see you next Friday and next Monday, hopefully. And during the week, probably one of those videos that I just talked about will be appearing sometime on my channel. So yeah, until next week, just have fun and bye-bye.